And welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and this is time for another roster review. This is another one of my patrons, Darth Zaiviys. Darth Zaiviys is a completely free-to-play character. He is represented by the Knights Templars, so shout out to Knights Templars. Now, he is completely free-to-play. He's played for about 6 months, and he's almost to level 85 after 6 months. You know, his highest character is only 1 Gear 10, and everybody else is Gear 9 or below. That happens when you're free-to-play. It does take longer to get up there and to gear up. So this will be a good roster for a lot of people to check out if they're free to play. So great example, but this is also hope for all of you free to play who range between 500 to 2,000 on Arena. You can get into the top 2 percentile. He's Arena rank 146 because he has a well-built team. So I want to go ahead and go over his Arena squad. So he has a Stormtrooper Han at about 176 speed, and that is not going to be fast enough to get him in the top 100. If you want to use Stormtrooper Han to make everybody else faster, you'll have to get in the top 200, you'll have to get over 200 speed. The only way to get over 200 speed is to do what I call mod management and credit management, and the only way to do that as free to play is to be hyper vigilant. Let me go over to the store and tell you what I'm talking about. All right, this is the store, the mod store. When you're free to play, this is your best friend for mods you cannot get otherwise because farming them, it takes too long and it's too hard. You got too many characters to unlock. You know, you got to do all the resistance to get speed mods, yada, yada, yada. So you want to come into here, and this is my suggestion. First, you have to always have about 5 million credits sitting around. Now, as free to play, you're like, what? How do I do that? Well, the credit heist. Save. Just like in real life, you've got to have a savings account. In this game, you got to save. You got to save about 5 million credits so that way you always have a minimum of a backup, kind of like a savings account in real life. So if you know, your car goes down, you have money to fix your car. Well, in this game, when a mod drops in this store for credits, such as this defense receiver or this offense hollow array or this offense data bus, when these type of mods drop for credits, you'll have the credits to purchase. Now, you've got to be very, 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 very particular in which mod you purchase from the store because you only have so many credits. So first, step 1, save up a bunch of credits. Step 2, don't spend them. And step 3, only spend them when you find a mod in here with a secondary stat of speed and 5 dot. So when you see a 4 or a 5 dot mod with a secondary stat of speed, preferably gold, purple, or blue, so that way you can get, you know, 2, 3, or 4 rolls on that speed. You want to get at least 2 or 3 rolls potentially. So blue, purple, or gold mods, 4 credits with a speed secondary. When you find something that meets all of that criteria, you buy it, you level it up to 15, and now voila, you have a really phenomenal mod that you can use on one of your characters. This will always be better and more efficient than trying to build out 10 teams to go and do the potency mods and the speed mods and all the other things that you're going to have to get. So that is my 2 cents on the mod store. All right, back to Darth Zaiviys. So Darth Zaiviys, his team looks great, but if he wants to break top 100, he's going to have to get some of those mods from the mod store that I just mentioned, and he's going to have to get his other characters geared up. Now, Knights Templars, I'm sure, is a good league, but he's definitely got to make sure that he's getting in as many raids as possible, and so he can get the best possible raid gear possible. The better your team, the more raid gear you're going to get. The more raid gear you have, the better and more credits you're going to have to purchase those things, because you get the guild currency. You can buy the raid gear as well. So you want a good guild to make sure that you can get all of that raid gear that you need to get these guys leveled up. We're going to go ahead and go on into inventory, and we're going to take a look at the light side so I can see who you're probably using to get through the light side nodes, and that would be probably the top 5: Stormtrooper Han, Lando, Biggs Wedge, and Admiral Akbar. That would be a plenty fine team, and as I see those 5, you could use those top 5, since they're all rebels, to get your Emperor Palpatine to 7 stars this month. So that's exciting, and you should be able to get up to about level 8 on light side with these, as far as light side easy and light side hard nodes. You should be able to get up to the end of 7 or the beginning of 8 with where these guys are geared. I would continue to gear Biggs and Wedge. That 2-player combo is always going to be effective as a high damage per second character combo when you need to go into galactic war because you have a team that's just overpowered and you need to take a particular character out, such as maybe General Kenobi. Your Biggs and Wedge is gonna, you can send them in as a strike force, so to speak, to just take them out. So there's that for light side. For dark side, not as many characters have been developed on the dark side. I do see you have Darth Maul at 4-star. I would continue to develop Darth Maul and get him into the top for yourself. Darth Nihilus, you could continue to develop. He's going to work well under Darth Maul. Plus, you have Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine. So you really have the makings of a decent Sith team. But you have Sun Fac and Boba Fett and Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader. These are all excellent characters. I would continue to develop them. Sun Fac makes an excellent counter meta character that you can utilize. He's always going to be viable in against any meta that comes out, past, present, or future. So I would definitely continue to develop the top 5 for your dark side. I see the second row. There are some makings of your droids, and I'm going to go into kind of the, for free to play, which you are, you need to have 4 pillars. And when I say 4 pillars, I mean, to hold up a house, you got to have 4 corners or 4 pillars that hold the house up. As a free to play, you can't go chasing every single new character that comes out, so you got to stick with these 4 pillars. So let me go through those 4 pillars. The first is Rebels, and we did kind of look at your Rebels already, but Rebels should be the first thing you go for. And the reason for that is you can get Emperor Palpatine right away, and Rebels are very powerful early on, even at a lower gear rate. So these guys will get you, kind of like you're using now, they'll get you in that top 2% on your leaderboard. So your Rebels look great. Continue to develop these. Plus, you can use your Rebels in Phase 2 or Phase 4 of the AAT tank raid, and you can use them in the Rancor raid. So this is one of the 4 pillars, and they look great. I wouldn't worry about developing any more of the Rebels for now. I would just focus on those top 5 and really try to get them as high a gear as possible. The next, and this is in the order in which I would farm them, are your Empire. This is the next pillar for free to play. Most of the Empire are relatively easy to gear, which is why it's one of the pillars, because you need easy to gear characters. Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader are both very easy to gear, and those are the 2 that you have the highest gear on. Royal Guard, I would definitely develop him, and I would also develop the TIE Fighter Pilot. Now, if you had a choice in the rest of them, you could kind of pick any of them, Snowtrooper or Grand Moff Tarkin, for who you have unlocked, but there are quite a few Empire characters you could utilize. I really wouldn't worry too much about Grand Moff Tarkin unless you plan on utilizing his ship at some point. He's high enough where you have him now, you'll be able to compete and get the ability mats unlocked at some point. He does not have to be too high for that. It's your ships that you're taking in that will be the determining factor. So you could focus on Grand Moff Tarkin or Snowtrooper, but Grand Moff Tarkin has more usability in the game. So I would do Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader, Royal Guard, Grand Moff Tarkin, and TIE Fighter Pilot. Let's look at the third pillar. All right, droids. So the droids I would work on, or I would focus on, would be strictly for now just the 3 in the middle, the HK lead, IG-86 and IG-88. Now, the reason why droids are so important and one of the pillars of free-to-play is, again, they're easy to gear. They're also great to use in the dark side mission, so you have more additional dark side characters to kind of get you through. But also IG-88 is critical because he's a bounty hunter. You're going to be able to use him in the Scoundrel and Bounty Hunter events that they bring out. So I would definitely do IG-88 for the Scoundrel tag, use him for that purpose, and you'll eventually want to build a droid team for Phase 2 of the AAT tank raid. Now, I know a lot of people that will tell you there's better teams, and potentially, yes, there are. I know there's a lot of combinations out there for the AAT tank raid. However, for free to play, you really need characters that are easy to gear, and you need some stability in what you're doing. And so the droids, just like the Empire, are relatively easy to gear. All of them are really pretty easy to gear for the most part. And so because of that, I would really recommend them for the second phase and to be one of your pillars of your free-to-play accounts. Let's go to the last pillar. That will be the Jedi. Not only will you need Jedi to unlock Yoda, which you have, and eventually you'll be able to get him 7-starred. But they also can work excellent in the Rancor raid or in phase 1 of the AAT tank raid. So again, we're looking at teams that you can utilize in multiple facets of the game. And you are developing Ayla. That's excellent. I would continue. Qui-Gon Jinn, continue. Ima-Gun Di, I apologize. Ima-Gun Di, absolutely. Ahsoka and Jedi Knight Anakin, absolutely. Below that, the only character I see that I'd really develop potentially is Barriss. She's the best healer in the game. She has a lot of uses. I still use her in Arena all the time. So she's an excellent character. She's got a very cool, unique ability, which you can Zeta, and that will make your team much more durable if you decide to throw her in Arena. But the rest of them at the bottom, I wouldn't worry too much about, unless you're using Jedi Consular's ship, and if that's the case, then you may want to spend a little bit of time leveling up Jedi Consular, because he does have a very strong and powerful ship in the ships. Kind of like Geonosian Soldier can call and assist, his character can call and assist and hit, and he's more durable. Jedi Consular is that same way, but in ships. He can call and assist, he hits pretty hard, and he's more durable than some of the other ships. So it's not a bad ship to have, and if you're going to use it, I would do that. Now, let's go ahead, and those are the 4 pillars that I would look at utilizing. I want to go through your light side and tell you if there's anybody that you probably should not worry about, that maybe you're focused on. And the first one that I see that I'm would say pause right now is K2SO, unless you're using him for a specific purpose, as well as Luminara, unless you're using her for a specific purpose. Pause those 2. Down the next rows, I would not worry about Obi-Wan anymore. I wouldn't focus on him. And I see the rest of these are all, lower gear. You've got most of the Jawas, and you've got them, kind of gear 4, gear 5, things like that. That is fine. All of these characters down here, I wouldn't put too much energy into, maybe Barriss, like I said. And Rey, if you want to Zeta her unique, you could take her all the way up, and she would be viable for past, present, or future meta. She's got the daze capability, so she's an excellent heavy hitter or a DPS character, and she has an ability now with the Zeta that will give her that ability to stop people from getting additional turn meter and taking, countering and things like that. So Rey may be someone you want to continue to invest in. Rex, at the bottom, I would recommend probably continuing to invest on the side, just kind of on the side passively. Just keep raising them up as best you can, because you have them unlocked. And then the rest of them on the bottom, I just wouldn't even worry about. As far as dark side, the top row, you could continue to develop. If you're using Geonosian Soldier's ship, continue to develop. You see your IG 886 HK Royal Guard, Grand Moff Tarkin, Darth Maul. So the top 2 rows continue to develop. The next bottom 3 rows, I don't really see anybody that I would highly recommend, with the exception of First Order TIE Pilot and TIE Fighter. Now, the reason why I recommend those 2 is specifically for ships, and they will help you with the dark side. But TIE Fighter Pilot, definitely get him up, and then the First Order TIE Pilot. The only problem with First Order TIE Pilot for you is he's 1 star, and he's one of the hardest farms. He's probably one on the top 5 hardest grinds in the game to get to 7 stars, but he's somebody you could passively work on the side on, just continue to slowly drop gear here and there when you have it. But the TIE Fighter Pilot in the bottom would be who I would definitely recommend. So let's go ahead and take a look at your ships. So initially off the gate, you're in the top 300. That's actually pretty good. I know a lot of people who are pay to play, who spend a lot of money, who aren't even in the top 300. So you're doing really well. You've been really focused, and it looks like you're using the Biggs Wedge combo, because they are some of your strongest characters in the game, with Admiral Akbar, who happens to be one of your strongest. And this is why I recommend the Rebels first, because it will help you get Emperor Palpatine and set up your Empire and Sith down the road. But they are also kind of the most usable characters in ships. You can walk right in, start using Admiral Akbar, and using the Biggs Wedge combo. Wedge hits he's one of the hardest hitting ships in the game, and Biggs is one of the best tanks in the game, and combined with Admiral Akbar, it's a great combo. I do see you have a second tank, which you're using, which is Sun Fac. That's excellent. That's one of your strongest. So you've got 2 tanks, and you have Ahsoka out front, which is good. She needs to be out there so she can dispel the opponent's, taunt that they put up. And then you have Jedi Consular ship. So because you're using JC's ship, I recommend you continue to gear him. Now let's look at your fleet arena or your fleet inventory, because I do want to give you some suggestions on how you should build. So these are your ships. And first off, let's go ahead and go light side. You have more than enough. You've got, plenty of ships. Dark side, let's take a look, because dark side is where you're going to struggle. You have 4. So the one ship you're missing that I would highly recommend, so that way you can unlock the Zeta material piece ability mats, is your Darth Maul. You're gearing Darth Maul, so I would continue to gear and farm both Darth Maul and Darth Maul's ship. In that arena currency you're getting, or the ship currency you're getting, I would spend half of it on Darth Maul himself and half of it on his ship himself, so you can get that 5th dark side ship and bring it in here. Now, you're using First Order TIE Fighter and the Imperial TIE Fighter, which is again why I recommend gearing both of those characters. The gear of a character makes up 65% of the stats for ships when they import their stats into the ships. So when they come in, their gear level makes up 2/3 of the equation. So even if he's a lower star level, you're still going to do better for yourself by gearing those characters up. So I would recommend Darth Maul and Darth Maul's ship as what you're farming there. As far as overall activated ships, use your home one like you have been. Use Biggs and Wedge in your first 5 lineup. You can use Ahsoka. She's definitely going to help you out there. I would definitely put probably, and I know he's pretty weak, but I would definitely put Jedi Consular and his ship out, and maybe the Imperial TIE Fighter. Now, the reason why the Imperial TIE Fighter is good is every time somebody tries to hit him and they miss, which the dodge is real high on that ship. It's the highest dodge. Every other ship has 2% dodge, and this ship has almost 50% dodge. Every time they miss, it'll feed turn meter to an already fast home one. And so because of that, it's going to give you additional turns. And why this is even more critical is you're using Sun Fac and Geonosian Soldier, both two of the 3 slowest ships in the game. So you're going to want to speed things up, and home one can help with that. So I would probably have it Biggs, Wedge, Ahsoka, Jedi Consular, and then the Imperial TIE Fighter in the first 5. As far as your backup, and you don't have much room for backup, you're at a 4-star Admiral Akbar, but as you unlock those back slots, I would put Sun Fac in the first back slot, and then after him, I would then put Geonosian Soldier probably, and then the First Order TIE Fighter, or someone that's more durable. Now, if you only have 5 slots, and I can't remember off the top of my head, if you only have just that one back slot, go ahead and keep Sun Fac out in your original 5 and put your Geonosian Soldier in the back 5. But you definitely want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. And having too many tanks and not enough attackers, that kind of thing, is bad juju. So Jedi Consular, he's a great attacker. Ahsoka's a great attacker. They're both kind of support characters as well. And then your Biggs, Wedge, and Sun Fac. So how you're doing it right now is pretty good, but definitely you're going to want to continue to develop the Imperial TIE Fighter, the First Order, and you're going to want to get, of course, your Darth Maul. So I hope this has helped you with ships. I hope this helps you with your characters. You really haven't made very many mistakes or anything like that. You look great. You look like you've been hyper-focused. Probably the weakest 2 pillars that you should be focused on is droids and Empire, but and they should probably be put on a front burner over your Jedi now that your Jedi are worked enough. But Empire, definitely get working on, and then work on those few characters I told you about. I hope this has helped everybody else watching. And remember, my video cadence, the way it goes, is about 50% of my videos are these roster reviews, and 50% are regular Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes videos. So if you like these roster reviews, you'll see plenty of them. And if not, you can watch all my other video content that does not have to do with roster reviews that will come out 50% of the time as well. Keeping in mind that I'm constantly putting out fresh and new content each and every week, multiple videos, so you have plenty to choose from if you want to do so. As always, have yourselves a wonderful afternoon. Keep your gaming on. Warrior out.